अबे जल्दी बोल, कल सुबह पनवेल निकलना है।
Sometimes I make this life thing harder than it needs to be. Not dead yet, true shit. So why do I worry about what I can't see? I've been stressing about money for my rent, but the money that I spent last night with my friends was worth it. Sometimes I make this life thing harder than it needs to be. So many lights, lights, lights with us tonight, night, night. Don't let them go to waste. Look into my eyes, eyes, eyes. It's gonna be alright, right, right. Tomorrow's gonna be okay. One moment, one shot. That's all we got. One moment, one shot. I don't belong to somewhere else than where I lay my bags. It's so hard to stay up and don't hide away behind the same old mask. But tonight I got the cool and I wanna go dance with you. So if you are in the mood, it's worth it. We don't belong with
Hi everybody, my name is Ganeshprasad and this is Parshkothari, and in this special video, we first of all want to thank you for helping us reach 1 million subscribers. Your school now officially has 1 million students learning from all across the world. And in this special episode, we are here to answer the 5 most frequently asked questions so that you can know your school better and you can know me and Parsh better. And today we have Parsh over here giving a candid video out of public demand. So let's see how this goes. Let's get started.
The first question is, what is thinkschool?
thinkschool is an education startup that intends to put a dent in the Indian education system. And we want to do that by teaching you what schools and colleges don't. And you see guys, everybody knows that the Indian education system is messed up. We live in a world wherein during the time of Google, our children are expected to mug up answers and useless information and they just asked to vomit it out in front of the paper. We live in a time wherein we talk about digitalization on one side, on the other side, our students are asked to write hundreds of pages of useless assignments. And you know, the fun fact is, while I was studying civil engineering, there was a subject called environmental engineering. And in that paper, we were talking about how to reduce waste. And I was writing hundreds of pages of assignments and submitting that to the professor only for him to drop a signature and that's it. It used to go in a truck, which was again filled with tons of paper. So you see, this irony is something that made us realize that the Indian education system is messed up. So we started this company to make sure that we can use the power of internet to break through these walls of mediocrity that the Indian education system has built up and teach you those skills that actually have value in this capitalistic world. And the way we do that is through our YouTube channel, wherein we give out the best possible business education so that the value of the content is so good that it could appeal to business graduates and small scale investors. At the same time, the content is simple enough for a 12-year-old child to understand. The content is simple enough that an engineering student is able to understand business without actually having a commerce background. The second way in which we do that is through our courses. We've got 3 courses right now. Communication Masterclass, wherein we teach you the art of storytelling and how to present ideas in the most powerful manner. The second course that we have is the LinkedIn Masterclass, and that is because ironically, colleges are meant to give you placements, but somehow they don't teach you how to use LinkedIn, which you're going to use for the next 10 years to get a great job. And then we have the Resume Masterclass. And in the pipeline, we've got the Art of Storytelling course, the Entrepreneurship course, and many other courses that are intended to teach you those skills that schools and colleges should, but they don't. So that's what thinkschool is all about. So if this is very, very clear to you, let's move on to the second question, and that is, Parsh, how did we meet?
Okay, we met 16 years ago in school. He was my junior, I was his senior. I happened to be the school captain, and this guy used to look up to me always. He was an energetic kid. He was always dancing around, very extrovert, talking to everyone. And I was a very introvert guy, but then he always looked up to me and he always wanted to talk to me.
He was like the famous child in school, but an introvert, and he was like my hero back then.
So it's not, मैं अभी नहीं हूँ क्या?
Well, he is my hero now.
Okay.
Okay, so the next question that we have is, what did you see in each other to start a business together? So, Parsh, क्या देखा तूने मेरे में?
I always saw a small brother in this guy. He always respected and trusted me. And the best part was, our skills are always complementary. This guy is a good public speaker. I am good at business. So I knew how to monetize his skills and he knew how to deliver his skills. So that's how we met and that's how we started a business.
As far as I'm concerned, business is always secondary. What is primary to me is friendship, it's love, and it's bonding. You see, when there is utmost trust, when there is a lot of love, you can be with each other, if not in this business, then in the next business. Aaj thinkschool chala rahe hain, tomorrow we might go and sell wine, right? But we know for a fact that if we stick together, we'll be able to do something great. And more than the achievement, more than 1 million subscribers, more than the revenue that you generate, what's more important to me is, are we having fun? Right. And if you look at the journey that we've been through, we were teaching in a classroom wherein there were only 2 to 3 students. We went to meet so many principals in so many colleges, waited in line for 2 hours, 3 hours. So many people rejected us. But all throughout that, we were just having fun together. And after the entire tiresome day was done, we were like, abhi chal jaake kuch to mast khate hain, right? We used to drink Neera at the highway. So, those memories are things that I absolutely cherish. So what I saw in Parsh is basically an elder brother who could be there with me through the ups and downs. And because I knew that we're going to have fun anyways, so why not give it a shot? And guys, most people don't know this, but then I was just falling out of college, but this guy left his job for me and he trusted me with this business venture, and then we started. So, if someone is willing to trust you so much, if someone is willing to give so much up for you, then business to banta hai yaar. Hai na? So, yeah, man. So, that's what I saw in Parsh. We're just great friends. We are brothers, and I'm sure we'll have fun regardless of what we do together. And one of these ventures just happens to be thinkschool. The next question is, how did you start thinkschool?
Okay. To understand how we started thinkschool, you should understand why we started thinkschool. As I already told you, we were both in the same school. And in this school, we had wonderful teachers. These teachers were like our mothers. They took care of us. They taught us a lot of things. We had that creative confidence. We learned how to talk to people, how to convince people. But soon after we passed out of school, we had stopped learning because we did not enjoy it. And that was the experience that we wanted to create at thinkschool. And that is why we started a small school. We took a small apartment as rent. We put a carpet. We had some chairs, and we started going to colleges and schools to get students into the school and started teaching them communication, resume, design thinking, etc.
Over there, we were, by the way, struggling to pay rent. Right. And that's when we realized that, the moment these engineering colleges start having exams, the classroom was completely empty and we had no business at all. And that is when I actually happened to read this book called Crush It by Gary Vee, which actually told me that if you want to really build a sustainable business in the 21st century, you have to be on the internet. And he said, go with YouTube straight away. But I somehow felt insecure and I was scared to go to YouTube because I just thought it's too high of a level. So we first started with Instagram, because on Instagram, when you post a content in 24 hours, your content is dead. Nobody watches your video after that. So we said, chalo, let's start with Instagram first. Let's make all the mistakes over here. And you'll actually see a video of mine on Instagram wherein I'm literally standing in front of my whiteboard wearing some random t-shirt and just teaching you concepts of business. So that's how the second phase of thinkschool started, wherein we were just struggling in the world of social media to find recognition, to see how we could build this business. And during this time, by the way, the classroom was still there. It was empty. We were struggling to pay rent and there was no revenue at all. So we started going to our friends' parents' houses and started teaching them public speaking, English communication, or whatever we could. Okay. We used to go to colleges and talk to principals, requesting them permission to give us a little bit of time, one small workshop, and they would never pay us, by the way. And that's when we realized that, this is not possible, man. We used to travel, by the way, for 20 kilometers. We used to go to that college, sit over there for 2 hours only to get rejected, to not get any appointment. Or the principal used to give us unbelievable numbers like take 2,000 rupees for this workshop and teach 100 students, that too for 1 week. Okay, and that was quite pathetic. So we used to come back to the classroom and just sit there idle, just thinking and wondering, where are we going to take this company? And then after 1 year, we decided now it's time for YouTube. Until then, that is until April 2021, Parsh used to just randomly post our Instagram videos on YouTube, and we were not at all consistent. So from April onwards, we started posting videos consistently, and by the time we posted our cred video, the channel blew up. In fact, cred was the turning point of our YouTube channel. And because of your kind love and support, because of each one of you who trusted us, who believed in us without actually looking at that subscriber count, the channel hit 100,000 subscribers in 10 days. We hit 200,000 subscribers in the next 20 days. And then we started hitting 100,000 subscribers every single month. And now we've hit 1 million subscribers in just 11 months.
Right, but one thing to note here is it's not the cred video. It was all the 9 videos that you put out, which was of high quality, and that is why it blew up.
Yeah, that's one thing that, most people often ask us, is one video good enough to just blow up your channel? Well, not really. You have to have a collection of videos when people actually visit your channel. This must have happened with you, that you watched the cred video, you liked it, you watched Marlboro, you liked it, and then you started watching other videos. Then you liked the channel good enough to actually hit that subscribe button, right? So this is one thing that people often misunderstand. So yeah, one great video is good enough to give you the visibility, but the rest of the videos will help you retain the audience. Right? So now after having 1 million subscribers, automatically the channel generates enough revenue. So we are at a pretty comfortable position as compared to where we were 1 year back. And now we can actually focus on our goals of building this dream school on the internet rather than worrying about rent and pocket money. Correct. So yeah, guys, so that's the story of thinkschool.
Now this is a good place to ask you, what is the future of thinkschool?
The future of thinkschool is divided into 2 categories. The first is a long-term goal, and second is we've got certain metrics to achieve by the end of this year. The metrics that we want to achieve by the end of this year is that we want to lay the foundations for podcast. We want to lay the foundations for our Hindi channel. And lastly, when it comes to the production quality of thinkschool, we want to reach the gold standards. In case of YouTube, it is Vox Media. For those who don't know, Vox Media is actually an inspiration to many YouTube creators because they put out world-class content with world-class production quality, which is so good that sometimes you would choose to watch a Vox video over watching Netflix. So we have our standards that high. I'm not sure how we're going to get to that, but we're going to do our best to get to that point. So that's the short-term goal that we have. And as far as the long-term goal of thinkschool is concerned, we've got 3 things in mind. Number 1 is to teach you entrepreneurship by actually getting you on ground to do exercises like market research by talking to your mithai wala, to do market research by talking to your grocery wala to understand how does he do stock keeping and stuff like that. The next thing that I have in mind is geopolitics. And the reason why geopolitics is very close to my heart is because it's going to solve a major problem. If you talk to the people around today and you ask them how's the government doing today, they will compare that with Congress. Now you see, Congress is not going to be your metric of excellence. Yaar. If you have a yardstick, your yardstick cannot be mediocre. You have to have a yardstick of excellence. And this yardstick of excellence is not because Congress has done a bad job, but because there are several other governments all across the world that have done a far better job than India itself. There's the US government, the Israeli government, the Singapore government. Singapore, though, we've covered it in one of our case studies, but we want to do a more extensive work so that you know what are the blunders that the countries have done. At the same time, you also know how small countries have been on a pursuit of excellence and have done something far more extraordinary than even the biggest countries in the world. And lastly, we have a podcast project in mind wherein we want to get the best CEOs from different industries to give you in-depth understanding of how their business functions, how their industry functions, so that if you have the intent to start a business, when you come to thinkschool, you should have 15 different industries to choose from. And regardless of which industry you choose, when you start that podcast, you should get game-changing insights that you'll not find in any book or any MBA course. So those are the goals that we have for thinkschool. And the last question that we have is by far the most popular question of all, and that is, what is the advice that you have for future creators and how did thinkschool hit 1 million subscribers in 11 months?
Okay, now there is no specific answer to this, but I know this, that we were delivering value and people loved us. So the answer lies with you guys. You were the ones who subscribed. First 9 videos did not get those kind of views, but the 10th video got those kind of views. But what happened next was amazing. You guys watched all the previous 9 videos and liked the content, and that is why you subscribed.
And these guys made YouTube Baba happy. So you guys hit the like button. As a result, the videos got recommended, and you know, the channel blew up. Like कर दो अभी.
So मेरे को ये बता कि एक advice अगर तू देना चाहता है for young creators, what will that be?
Advice though, I've got 3 things to tell you. First of all, don't look at the numbers. I know it's very easy to say. In my case also, he's seen me obsess over numbers. It's very, very difficult. But the lesser you focus on the numbers, the more you'll be able to focus on creativity. Okay, so that's the first advice that I have. The second advice is do some market research and find out what other creators in the same genre are making. And that's when you'll understand what exactly is the content that you're supposed to create that is one notch above the existing pieces of content. In our case, we realized that CNBC, Business Insider and all these channels were covering business information. है ना? सब कुछ तो था already. But what we realized is that we found 2 things. Number 1, Indian case studies were missing. Number 2, it was just information and no insight. As in, they'll tell you that this is how the business functions, but they will not tell you what are the business lessons that you can learn from them. They will not tell you these are the study materials and here's how you can actually go on to explore those industries. So we found that delta and we capitalized on that. And as far as the content strategy is concerned, you know, I was speaking to Ayush back then and he put it very beautifully when he said that you either make something on time or you make something timeless. Right. Okay. And if you see, that's literally the blueprint of thinkschool's YouTube channel. You will find 2 types of videos. The first type of video is where we put out something because there was a hunger to know about that particular subject. Like Shark Tank is going on. People want to know what boat. So we put out a boat video and it blew up. People wanted to know about Ashneer Grover, so we put out a video on Bharat Pay and it blew up. At the same time, you also have the other type of videos like Marlboro, like Lijjat Papad, like Starbucks, like Haldiram, and many such videos which will be relevant today. They were relevant back then and they'll stay relevant even 2 years later, right? So this perfect balance of on-time content and timeless content is what will give you the balance of discoverability and long-term relationship with the subscribers and long-term value to the subscribers. And if you look at it from that standpoint, I think that's all you need to do. Rest is completely up to the algorithm to decide how it wants to take your content and how it wants to blow up. For us, it was the 10th video. For you, probably it will be the 50th video. But the one thing is, what is your intent? Is your intent to deliver world-class knowledge? If yes, then today, tomorrow, 1 year later, YouTube is bound to push your content. You're bound to get 1 million subscribers. We just happen to be lucky that we got it in 11 months. That's all. And lastly, please don't depend on high-tech setup. As you could see, our setup is as simple as it could get, right? It's just a white wall, a small ring light, a mobile phone camera. By the way, this is my OnePlus 7, which actually broke into 2 pieces. I started creating content from this phone until we hit 700,000 subscribers. And even now, it's actually being shot from a phone. There's a Boya mic that's attached, which costs what? 1,500 rupees? Right. That's it. That's all you need to get started. Don't obsess over, you know, a great setup, a fancy setup. Obsess over great content because that's where the real gold is. And before we say goodbye, we just want to thank you from the bottom of our heart for supporting our content, for forgiving my spelling mistakes and a few mistakes with numbers that I have made. It really means a lot to me. I just can't express my gratitude in words. But what I can do is give you world-class content, and that's what we'll continue to do as long as our YouTube channel exists.
And that's my responsibility also. I'll make sure that thinkschool remains profitable so that this guy creates contents for free.
So thank you so much, guys. And if you like this video, do hit the like button to make YouTube Baba happy and to stay with us in our wonderful journey to put a dent in the Indian education system. Please subscribe to this channel. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.